Yo guys, it's JJ here, and today I'm going to be taking you through a Southside X NARDO WICK tutorial. That's all that really needs to be said, so let's get into this. First of all, we got ourselves a preset from Piano V2. It's called American Distant Room, and when I started off the melody, I just got a diminished minor chord in the scale of G minor, and then just made this pattern, and then just repeated it over. Then I clicked Alt R, and then played with the velocities a bit, to give a bit more of a human feel. And apart from that, I also did Alt S for strum, and then this is the settings I used, and this is what the melody sounds like. Nice, dark, simple, and that's what we like. As for effects, I use an EQ cutting off a lot of the lows and a few of the highs, making it sound a bit more ambient. Then I whacked on some RC20, however, as you can see, I'm having an issue. And then I added some Valhalla vintage verb to give it a bit more ambience and space. Next up, I got an Omnisphere preset from the bank Human Voices, and it's called Boys Choir A-P. Whatever that means, but it sounds great. Then I just copy and pasted the melody from the piano over, but just left it out as full notes. Then I dug the velocity a lot by clicking Control A and then using the scroller wheel to play with it. And this is what the melody sounds like. So when I'm making a NARDO WICK Southside beat, usually you'll have like these dark background vocals. Well, not usually, but you can add them in, and that's what I did in this instance. Fills in a bit more of the space, gives it a bit more of a dark atmosphere, that evil murder music vibe from NARDO, so that's what we went for. Then as for effects, I did a pretty similar EQ, cutting off a lot of the lows and then ducking quite a few of the highs. Then I added a very heavy reverb, again, just so it's quite far back in the mix, but just does the job really well. Next up, we went into Omnisphere again, and we got ourselves a bass called the CS80 sine bass. It's a very good bass. Then I lay down this pattern following the root note, of course, and then cutting it off every time just before the end of the 2-bar. Just gives it a bit of like a weird pause tension. I like it personally, but this is what it sounds like. And that's the sound. Next up, we got ourselves a Nexus 2 preset called SY Fantasy Bell Pad 4, and I got it from the Fantasy and Dreams bank within Nexus 2. Again, this plugin is very useful for dark melodies, beats like Metro, Southside, TM88, ATL Jacob. It does it all, but you need to know how to use it properly in my opinion. However, it's a great plugin. Then, with this preset, I laid down a counter melody following from G down to D and then the 2 semitone notes. I thought it sounded quite nice, so this is what the pattern sounds like. As you can see, it's very repetitive as the rest of the patterns are, but it does the job. It's a very nice dark mood, and it just slowly builds up this bigger picture of a nice complete dark melody. As for effect, what I did was I cut out all the lows and then a few of the highs again. And the reason I keep using this little duck part here is because you want a lot of ambience in these dark melodies. You don't want it to be too harsh on the high end, so it just helps the artist out a bit more and it creates a bigger vibe. And then I just panned it a bit to the left side to give it a nice clear bit in the mix. Lastly, we got ourselves a preset from Expand 2. It's from the Polysynth bank and it's called Warm Plus Belly. By using this, I lay down another counter melody. As you guys can see, it's essentially using a lot of the same notes from the previous melodies and counter melodies, however, just changed it up a bit and it does the job nicely. So this is what the counter melody sounds like. And that's the melody. As for effects, again, pretty similar EQ, cutting off all the lows, ducking the highs, then added an RC20, however you guys can see I'm having an issue with it. And of course, you gotta have your Valhalla vintage verb because reverb is the same as ambience in my eyes, and it does the job perfectly. Then I panned this to the right a bit, just so again, it doesn't clash with the other. Then I panned this to the right a bit just so it doesn't clash with the other counter melody within the whole melody. And it sounds great. Now with all that being said, this is what the melody sounds like. But wait, there's more. Once I finished making the melodies that you just were about to hear, what I did was I rendered them all into audio clips. Then I changed it from resample to stretch, messed with the pitch, took it down 3 semitones, and then hit reverse on that. And now you're gonna hear where the real melody kicks in. And now you can hear where the real melody kicks in, that nice authentic NARDO WICK Southside melody. So with that being said, this is the true dark melody. Hey, don't look at me like I didn't give you the sauce right here, because this is the sauce. I literally just gave you NARDO WICK Southside in a little jar and just compacted it into this tutorial for you guys. And that's why this melody slaps different. It just sounds darker. Reversing it always just makes it sound insane with vocals, pianos, strings. Literally anything will always sound insane in reverse as long as you've got it nice and heated. So let's get on to the drums. First of all, in the drums, we got ourselves a Lex Luger slap clap. You know, very standard clap, does the job. It's basic, just like white bread and yourself, because I know you guys haven't started to subscribe, comment, and down below. And if you do, you're not as basic as this clap pattern. Anyways, this is what the clap pattern sounds like. Next up, we got ourselves a hi-hat pattern, quite basic, but I'll go through it. Essentially, it's a 4-bar loop, but what I did was I had a full 2-step, then took out notes that I thought just gave it a bit more bounce, which is what I did. I messed about with some other notes and then just see what they sound like in different notes, if that makes sense. I had the magnet tool on half, and then I just started adding a few rolls wherever I thought it sounded good or where they were needed. And that's essentially how this whole hi-hat pattern was made, just those few steps. See what notes I want to take out, see what notes sound better in different semitones, and lastly, add rolls where you think they're needed. And this is what the hi-hat pattern sounds like. And that's the hi-hats. I know it's not as crazy as some other hi-hat patterns you have, like where you got all super mad rolls, but I thought this did the job nicely for the beat, and we'll be moving on. As for the 808, I had 2 patterns in the beat, just so because I thought I can give it some variety, a nice little switch up within the beat. The first pattern looks like this. Of course, you want to click Control A and use a scroller wheel to max the velocities to always give it a punching sound. And then I'll lay down this nice simple pattern, and this is what it sounds like. And that's the first 808 pattern. Now, this is what the second pattern looks like. And as you guys can see, I didn't follow the root notes at all. However, the pattern is the same rhythm, the same bounce. But just see what sounds nice, see what sounds good, and there you have it. This is the melody I came up with, and this is what it sounds like. And that's my 808s, folks. Next up, we have ourselves a kick pattern. And as you guys know, if I use a Fins 808, most of the time it'll be complemented with a rack kick, and they just fit each other perfectly. So I followed the pattern of the 808, just laid it as a kick pattern, maxed those velocities as per usual, you know, that Control A scroller wheel magic. And this is what the kick pattern sounds like. Nice. And then last but not least, we added some action snares throughout the beat. So this is the pattern, and this is what it sounds like. I like to think that was quite self-explanatory. And with that being said, this is what the full drums sound like together. And that's all from me today, guys. So I hope you've enjoyed my take on a NARDO WICK Southside beat. Hope you guys have got a little bit of knowledge from this. Thanks for watching the video, and take it easy. Peace.